Hello and welcome to Groundhog Graphics. My name is Martin, and in this video I'm going to go over some of the essential tools to developing software for an Atari 5200. Some of what I will go over will also be information relative to somebody who wants to program an Atari 800. However, the primary focus of this video will be the 5200. We will be going over which assembler to use, code editors that you can use, as well as emulation. I should also mention that I'll be using a Windows operating system to do the programming in. If you're using another operating system such as Linux or Mac, these programs, I don't know, they may or they may not work for you, and you will have to go ahead and take a look at the website for each software package and determine that for yourself. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's the emulator I've been using. It's called Atari. This is the website. The website's called Virtual Dub. Down here at the bottom of the page lists off a number of different versions. I went with version 4.01. Some other nice features. If we scroll up here, let's see, we have our feature list. And if you go down here to this right here, we can see it says powerful debugger with label decoding, source level stepping, conditional breakpoints, trace points, watch points, execution history with loop, call, interrupt folding, and profiling. So I don't know if all the other emulators offer this, but this one sure does, and I think it's a good choice for development. And if we look up here, it also says, let's see here, let me highlight it. Best-in-class emulation, accuracy of undocumented hardware behavior, including undocumented 6502 instructions, precise DMA timing, mid-screen register changes, hardware bugs, and cycle precision timer interrupt requests. So, yeah, this developer, like I said, he puts an extra emphasis on the accuracy of the emulation versus the speed, which is great for a developer. Next up, we have DASM. This is our assembler. DASM is 8-bit macro assembler. You go right here to their home page, dasmassembler.github.io, and you can get the latest release for Linux, OS X, Windows 64-bit, and Linux ARM. So they've got quite a variety there. Then it has code and documentation, bugs, features, so a pretty simple site. I've used this DASM so far, and it has worked well for me. I'm pretty sure you can use, of course, another assembler if you like, but I think you could also use this for, a lot of different 6502 based machines, like a Commodore 64 or whatever it might be. So, yeah, I like this emulator. I'm sorry. I like the sysassembler. It works good. Now, for an editor, I could recommend, I don't know, I haven't found an editor that I think is really perfect for this yet. Visual Studio Code is pretty cool. It'll find like little errors that you make when you're typing your code because it has an extension from DASM that's on there that you can install. I also like Notepad++, but there is no extension that I'm aware of for DASM. So it's kind of like, you make a mistake, you go to assemble, and it goes, there's your mistake. So you can catch some of that more in Visual Studio Code. But when you're typing things out, I would kind of like it where your labels would jump to the left and your opcodes would stay in the middle and that kind of stuff. Well, it doesn't really do that. You kind of have to do that yourself with tabs in either Notepad++ or Visual Studio Code. But so far, I think Visual Studio Code probably is the best choice due to the extension that it has for DASM. Now here's Notepad++. It goes notepad-plus-plus.org/downloads. This is, I believe, is only available for Windows, I think. Let's see, Notepad Happy Users Edition, Unhappy Users Edition. Not really sure what that is. Stand Up for Ukraine. There's a lot of political downloads here. I'm not sure what those are for. I think this is I think it's just for Windows. So, but it's if you're working on Windows, then this is also a good program. And I like to use this editor for other languages as well, like C. It supports a variety of languages in it, a whole bunch of them. Okay, so now you've got everything downloaded, and you're ready. You got it installed. I'm going to be working from the command line. So if you're going to be working from the command line, this next step will be important for you. I'm going to go down here to the bottom left of my screen, right click, go to System. I'm going to go to Advanced System Settings, and I'm going to go to Environment Variables right here. And there's my path variable. And what we're going to do is edit our path variable so that we have like DASM, this is where I installed it on my slave drive, and I also installed the Altura emulator on my slave drive, and I have these both in my path statement. That way, no matter where you are in your file system, when you're on the command line, you can call these programs to assemble and also to do your testing. So that is not a necessary tip, but if you're working from the command line, then it's going to be very helpful. Go ahead and close this. Okay, so now here we are in my directory for war games, and this program, all it does is list off some of the stuff that was on the screen in a war games movie. If you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it's not really that important. It displays text. So I'm going to go ahead and remove wg.rom. Yes. And then we're going to go ahead and I'll list it. See, now we only have one source file in here. I'm going to go ahead and use code, Visual Studio Code, and I will open up wg.asm. There we go. And this has the extension built into it for DASM. I think this is the extensions right here. And if I scroll down, right here, DASM Macro Assembler for Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have that installed in your code, you can search for it up here for search extensions. You can install it from there. So this is a program that I got sample code here from Daniel Boris for a Hello World program. And I used that as a kind of a template because he has a lot of code in here that clears out memory and just sets up the system. And so that saved me a lot of trouble. So I just left that all in there, and then I made some changes down where I wrote Atari 5200 War Games code. All below here I've done some changes, wrote my own little program, and it comes through and it sets up where the screen's going to be, and it reads text right here, and then this part, what does this do? Adjust the pointer, okay, whatever, outputs text right here, and then the wait is the end of the program, and it's just an endless loop. Now this display list data, this was already in here, thanks to Boris, appreciate it. So that sets up our screen, and here's the text data that I added, and this will be displayed on the screen. So if you're coming in here, you edit your code, you save your code, and then you exit out. Now we're going to be ready to assemble it. So we go DASM, and we go wg.asm, and we put -F3, and F3, what that does is it tells DASM to assemble the program so it's raw data, like to go on a cartridge. So if you're going to make a cartridge ROM, you need to use an F3. And then, let's see, DASM-F3, then we want an output file. So we'll put -O, wg.rom, and then we can create a list file, it's capital L, and we can make it for a log.txt. So let's go ahead and see if this works. There it is, complete, 0 errors. And if I do a directory listing again, you'll see we have our log.txt, our wg.asm source file still there, and wg.rom. So now let's go ahead and run the wg.rom with Altura. So Altura 64, and we do, I think it is a // cart mapper 4 and wg.rom. Let's see if that works. And there it is. So there's the program executing like it was a cartridge in the Altura emulator. Now if I close this, the cart mapper, what we did is we told Altura to expect an Atari 5200 cartridge. So that's cart mapper 4. If you don't put that in, then it's going to ask you what type of cartridge it is. Let me go ahead and do that. Altura 64 wg.rom. See, and then it goes, oh, okay, well, what kind is it? So we select the Atari 5200, and then it runs. So the cart mapper is just a nice way to get around not having to answer that every time. Close that. And our log.txt file, let's take a look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Notepad for this. Notepad I have aliased for as a CED on my computer. You can type in Notepad++, whatever you've got. So CED log.txt. And here is the log file. So it shows your memory location, where it assembled to. Shows everything that was in your source file and where it went to in memory. And let's see here. There's a origin right here, ORG 4000, and you see it starts at 4000 and then it goes up. And then we go farther down in the code. We'll see, let's see here. Yep, keep going the farther we go with code. Okay, here's our origin for B1000. And you see we had 40B0, now it went up to B1000. And these are line numbers. I think they are off by 1. Probably starts counting at 0. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, no, but it starts with this, so I guess it is kind of like line 0. So it's off by 1. But anyway, there it is, all the information in here that is assembled. And that'd be handy if you have some errors or something, I guess. You can look it up in here and try to get an idea of what it did. So now here's a site with a lot of resources on it. This fellow here has gone out of his way to make up a lot of information on programming various systems, including the Atari 5200, the Atari 800, and numerous other machines like the Commodore 64 and basically you name it. This guy also has videos too, so you should totally check him out. He's a very helpful resource. If we scroll down, we see we got specs on our 5200 and on the 800. We have lesson plans that have been organized and numbered, and bitmap functions on the Atari 800, joystick reading, palette definitions, sound on the Atari 800 and 5200, differences between the 800 and 5200, screen modes, screen display lists, which could be a little bit confusing at first. Let's see what else. Screen modes, right here. Palette, sprites, sprite registers. Wow, that's cool. He's really got this laid out nice, all colored, coded like this. Pokey sound. So yeah, really super awesome site. Definitely need to check that one out. And then also, there is Atari headquarters, which you can see AtariHQ.com/Dan B/A5200.SHTML. And he has system specs on here, links, Historical Society, some other Atari 5200 Super System site, I guess, trackball, technical information, technical files. This site would also be handy if you're repairing your 5200, you know, or an accessory. So patents, I don't know, I guess, but source code. This is where I got my Hello World program from. Development software suggested DASM, which is what I've been using. Emulators, schematics. So there you go. It's another great site to check out. So I went ahead and I searched for Atari programming books, and down here, trying for like the second one, I have Atari Mania. I go to that site, and that is www.atarimania.com/documents-400-800-XL-XC-books_1_8.html. And this site has a lot of books for programming like your Atari 800. And remember, your Atari 800 is almost identical to programming your 5200, except they changed around some of the memory locations for some of the chips. So if you adjust the chip locations, that 800 text should work for your programming your 5200. Also, they have books here on programming the 6502 code. So if you're new to assembly, a book like this or this 6502 code, actually both of them would be very helpful. And then you can come down here and you see it just have tons of Atari books. And I've been through here before. I know they have some programming books for the Atari 800, something that tells you about display lists and just different things. So it's a great resource right here too. And this will be the last site I'm going to show you. This is not specific to the Atari, but it is for 6502 opcodes and programming. It's kind of a reference, and it's real handy for me. They have it all color-coded with all your instructions right up here. And you can click on an instruction like, let's see, add with carry. And you see add with carry, add memory to accumulator. It shows all of the flags that are affected. Gives you a brief description, shows you all the different addressing modes. And it does that for all of these opcodes. So this is real handy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that link in the description too. This is www.pagetable.com/C64 reference /6502 and then /?tab equals 2 #ADC. Oh, that's because I did the add with carry. So anywho, you don't have to put that part in. But yeah, so that pretty much sums it up, and I hope this video helps you. Program your Atari 5200. Thanks for watching. Bye.